Okay, so it's been over a month since the first part of this two-parter came out, and over 40 videos, and people have been wondering when I was going to finish this, and the only answer I have for them is, I had better things to do than talk about the other two in this set of crappy repaints. I still do, but you all want to see this, and I finally don't feel the extreme pressure on what videos need to happen this week. First up, because I forgot last time and I don't want to risk that happening this time, these figures come with a bunch of extra heads. You'll forgive me for forgetting them last time because, honestly, who gives a crap? The heads you want are already on their shoulders. Well, maybe Scorponok's wasn't if I'm remembering right, but I get that this is a cool gesture and all, and they should do this with more figures, but at the same time, why would I want to replace the heads with the normal ones? Them being a different character is the whole reason you'd buy these things in the first place. Swap the heads and, oh, now I have a weird colors kickback and a bizarre colors Scorponok. Though I guess the buzzsaw head really doesn't matter, either head and it's a new character. Anyways, welcome to the Creatures Collide Box Part 2, the G1 characters this time. And let's start out with Ransack, and I actually might like this a bit better than the kickback. It looks a remarkable amount like the character, with the only serious problem I see being that the shoulders are black instead of yellow like the rest of his arms. They clearly painted the tops of his hips and crotch, so I don't see why they couldn't have done the same up here too. I mean, the black is bleeding through the paint real bad and all, but I still want to see it. There are a few things that could have been changed to make this more like what it's supposed to be. Like the wings could have been cocked out to the sides, and the yellow could have run up the torso a bit further. But as a choice of starting mold, this was actually a really good pick. And what's more, the QC here is still great. I got no complaints with this one like I had with the Worlds Collide box. Everything feels solid and the joints are stiff and fluid. He's packing a folding chair inside his leg so he can pop a sit down anytime he wants to, and he's not going to fall over even in an earthquake. And while a little plain, he looks pretty cool. It's weird how these new colors make what once was a kind of geeky robot into something that feels a bit more threatening. I don't know if it's quite the bruiser that he's supposed to be, but it is still more imposing looking than his mold mate. Head is pretty good. It reminds me of Scrapper if Scrapper was wearing some wintertime earmuffs. I mean, this is about as accurate gets. It's almost a straight pull off the G1 toy. The only thing I'm a little bummed about is the fact that his head is in a matte finish as opposed to the gloss black on the rest of the figure. I'd have killed for a shiny head. So this one is pretty much the equivalent of the normal version, which was a decent one. Now, for this next figure, a bunch of people have been telling me that they think I'm going to like this a lot more than the Earthrise Cliffjumper. Why? Why would you assume that? This sucks! Fuck this thing! What, I'm gonna like it because it has all the problems of Cliffjumper, who I already hate, but also it looks nothing like it's supposed to? Sometimes I worry for your sanity, everyone. Goldbug here looks like he's more made out of peanut butter than he is gold. I was going to say that it's an ugly color, but he's made out of nothing but ugly colors. Rotten gold, mid-gray, desaturated blue. What is this, a toy from the 90s? Why does it have a complete lack of taste? Also, why does it look absolutely nothing like the guy it's supposed to be? Oh yeah, it's because it's a shitty retool of an already very bad figure. He's too fat, he's too short, his feet are supposed to have both wheels in them, and instead it has neither. Even his backpack is wrong. Though that part is mildly fixable. Since it's just pegged on, you can actually spin it around, so it's more like the hood he's supposed to have. And that does actually help a remarkable amount. This is still a trash toy, but it feels more like what they were going for like this. Unlike the previous figure, this does not feel like the equal of the normal mold. While this is nowhere near as bad as the Bumblebee that was in the Worlds Collide box, this is a marked downgrade. It's okay, but it's looser in just about every joint than the original mold. And the paint on the shoulders and crotch is applied like shit. On the shoulders, it's just bleeding through, but on the crotch, it's legitimately splotchy and messed up. And while not a problem with this particular figure, but the mold for Bumblebee in general, the feet hurt me to look at. I don't know how something that doesn't remotely look human can be uncanny, but it feels so weird the way these chunks of a car's engine block rest on the ground pulling up and away towards the wheel wells. Let's just give it a moment to see how many people comment to me that the engine on a Volkswagen Beetle is actually in the back. Don't go making a joke about it and pretending to be mad. I want to see the actual number of people who are just hanging over the comment box waiting for me to mess up. The head kind of drives me crazy. Sometimes it looks a lot like Goldbug's head, especially now that I've given it its box hoodie, but other times it looks nothing like it. This is a fourth-dimensional object and it's affecting my mind. After the Worlds Collide Bumblebee had such a good head with the chromed out eyes, the matte paint on this guy's visor really feels like a betrayal. So this sucks like the Cliffjumper, but worse. It's just as bad as that thing ever was, while also being very inaccurate to the character, and just in general, it has pukey colors. I'm happy that I figured out how flipping the backpack helps a little, but in general, I'm to the point of depression seeing one of the worst figures of the last several years be one of its most prolific. And I'm deeply annoyed by the fact that I have 3 of them now. As for accessories, this is where these guys kind of fall flat. In the Goldbug's case. Ransack comes with his bug wing leaf swords, this time painted in a matte yellow that really probably should have gone on the figure's shoulders rather than wasting the budget on it here, and it's also probably more the color his limbs should have been in the first place, given that he was far more orangey gold back in G1. I guess they felt like it would be cramping Bumblebee's style if there were 2 gold guys in this box. He also comes with his gun, this time unpainted, and that's a huge downgrade from the kickbacks version of this accessory, which was a highlight of that figure for its pretty sweet deco. As for Goldbug, it comes with the same fucking rocket launcher as always, with the same fucking engine block on the back as always, that I still have no idea what they want me to do with. And then for some reason, the rocket launcher itself is cast in 2 colors of plastic, with the front one being gold with a coat of black paint that shines nicely, and the back being cast in a dull black that clashes with the front. I am so fucking sick of everything you stand for, Cliffjumper. I hate you. I hate you so much. I don't want to go over the posability for each of these figures, the 4th time? Needless to say, Ransack is the equivalent of Kickback, which was a really excellently posing figure. Its knees could be a lot deeper, but it's got more range in a lot of its joints than normal. And Goldbug is just as bad as Cliffjumper ever was, but this time even more so because the build is fatter, so he has even less arm range when crossing his chest. And the transformations on these two both suck. Once again, Kickback is just not doing enough at all. Though it at least has one extra step now where you rotate his antenna, and then Goldbug is still a simplified Masterpiece Bumblebee 1.0 with his head glued to his ass and the egregious parts forming that I don't think I've ever shit on hard enough. Impressive, I know, considering how much I already shit on his parts forming, but I don't think I've ever pointed out the fact that it's painfully frustrating to get this piece off when trying to go into robot mode, and flipping out the stupid peg to attach it to his back is a needless pain too. Like, why couldn't this be designed to always be out? It's already cheating. How did they not have the skill to make the cheating even remotely pleasant to do? And honestly, this whole thing has some tightness and clearance issues that the Cliffjumper just didn't have. And the end results are questionable. I want to like Ransack. I mean, it's just the same thing as last time, but I absolutely love the swooped back antenna. I think that's kind of really cute. But the plate in front of his face is even more inexcusable now, because they didn't retool this part at all. This is exactly the same as it ever was. So now with the new head design, it doesn't fit. It's too short to cover everything it needs to, and it's too wide to look like it's part of the head. Plus, this version of it doesn't look finished on its own without more happening to it. And then Goldbug has a lot more noticeable seam lines than it used to. Like, I'm trying to close these up as best I can, but they just won't go. And I don't remember them being this prominent on the original Cliffjumper. The Mustard Mobile would be bad enough without all these extra splits running along it, and the back end wants to hold together less than ever. I just don't understand the appeal of this thing. I don't get why anyone has any patience for this mold. It's awful. It's just awful. In every way. It looks bad. It looks incorrect. It poses bad. It transforms worse. It's way too small for something you pay deluxe price for. And don't fucking give me the increased engineering bullshit that Hasbro tries to pull. While Ransack isn't exactly a good comparison, most deluxes have significantly better engineering. More involved and more fun without the cheating. Think about that. This cheats, and it does nothing to help it. It doesn't look better for it. It doesn't pose better for it. It doesn't transform better for it. It just sucks. The only thing worse than this that Hasbro has done since the WFC began was Ursi. And that's like saying, boy, I sure am glad they only shot me with this pistol and not the deck cannon off of a dreadnought. As for Ransack, that's actually a relatively fun and decent figure. It's pretty much just like the Kickback again, in a cooler color scheme with a cute bug mode that's hampered even harder by the worst thing about that Insecticon mold. But everything else about that figure, from the QC to the posing, was excellent to begin with. Overall, I'd say that the Creatures Collide box is pretty much the equal of the original Worlds Collide box. Whereas that one had one great figure, one figure that would be great if it weren't for bad QC, one figure that would be decent if it weren't for absurdly horrendous QC, and one that would be doomed to suck, this box has two really good, though unexciting repaints, one repaint of a shit figure that really helps it suck a lot less, and then the same damn figure that's doomed to suck. This has taken so long that I don't know if you can even find this set anymore. But if you do, there's worse ways to spend 80 bucks. The price helps. That's 4 deluxes for $20 each, when the normal price for one of those right now is $25. So if you're looking for a discount, this kinda has that. And that's not half what I have to say, but it's enough what I have to say. And I know, you know, what everyone else tells you to do at the end of these videos. So if you liked what you saw here, please do that. And if you'd like to take it a step further, then please share this video with any friend you think may be interested. I hope you all enjoyed listening to me waste your time.